Hello, this is Greg Galson, Green Greg's coming to you 21 September 21. Time on deck, 1908, 100 hours, Central Daylight Time. And I have special guests with us tonight, Jim and Jesse of the Green Dream Team Project. These individuals are doing amazing work out in Arizona, and they're building their own home out of sandbags. And what they're doing is just stunning. And I'm planning to kind of follow in their footsteps because I got a habitat concept I plan to build in Arizona myself. That's also going to have sandbag walls. It's a different concept. You might have seen my universal habitat, but these guys are laying the groundwork. They're pioneers in this. A lot of other people have built sandbag homes, but they're doing it where I want to do it. And it's just great to watch them and follow them. They take you through on their channel this whole thing, step by step. You see all their trials and tribulations and their experiments and neat things, like they just built a new lift to get materials wet. They're building this thing up real high. So they got a ladder lift they built, and they're just always experimenting. They built a cistern. They built, they got a basement in this thing, a root cellar, you might say. Just all kind of cool stuff. They're innovative. And my real heroes are people like these individuals who have a dream and they go out and build it. They do their own stuff. And by the way, I get kind of interested in the name Jim. It's Jim and Jessica, but the name kind of reminds me of Jim and Jesse, one of my favorite bands, bluegrass. You ever heard of Jim Jesse and the Virginia Boys?
I think I've heard that one.
Check it, look it up on YouTube, or bluegrass band. So let's Jim. I give you Jim and Jessica. So tell us, Jim, Jessica, what got y'all inspired to build a earthbag, sandbag, whatever you want to call it, home in Arizona?
That's a good question. We've really had the dream of building an earthbag house for probably over a decade, or close to a decade. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, how did you even come across the concept?
I think exploring a bunch of different natural building methods, and getting closer, working with nature and sustainability. And we came across earthbag building, and that seemed to really fit what we wanted to do. It fits the climate right here, making use of the land right here. So it really was something that worked well for us.
Oh,
yeah, I think
I was about to say, I love the concept because you just walk up to property and what you're going to build it out is just right there. It's right where you build it at. That's what you're using to build with. I mean, how do you beat that?
Yeah, I think when kind of thinking about like earthen building or natural building, you really want to explore all the different possibilities, all the different concepts, and see what's right for you as the individual. Earthbag, something about earthbag just hit home with us personally. We like the concept of, of course, just being able to use mostly of what's, what else is you get in abundance here in the desert. It's earth, the dirt,
Oh yeah.
For us, it was just a really good mix of like, each of them has their positives and negatives. And for us, earthbag was just that right mix of positives for us.
Well,
and how we're going about.
Yeah, it's got a lot of positive in that you are building the resources right there. It's low impact on the environment, and you got a lot of thermal mass in those walls, which makes that home easy to cool and heat. Very easy. The more thermal mass, the better. I mean, I'd be tempted to double bag. At one point I saw a source for bags were 18 inches wide, and I heard 18 was like for total thermal stability, like the least you'd want to go. But I haven't found that source again. How wide are your bags? Are yours the typical 12-inch wide bags?
Oh, no. A couple of things to consider, especially because we're building a dome and the size we're building the dome. So we're building a 20-foot interior diameter for our earthbag dome. And to do that, you need bags that are just about 2 feet wide. So our bags are nearly 24 inches width, and that's about going about halfway up on this dome.
I like that better. You may not know it, but 24 inches, not only is that great depth for thermal mass, that's excellent. That's also enough mass to stop common radiation. Wouldn't be good in a cosmic ray space setting, but here on Earth, if let's say that nuclear plant in southwest Arizona went bad, you've got radiation shielding when you're domed there, at least the walls. And if you keep that going all the way up, you're living in a radiation sheltered bunker automatically. So you got a huge advantage. I don't know if you guys thought about this. I'm a prepper. I think about things like that. So sandbags, I love the idea of sandbags. They're great. It's cheap. Yeah. But you will put some labor into it. So how big your bags are 24 inches wide and how long?
I think, what did they end up being? Just a little under 40 inches, like 36 inches.
Yeah, I believe so.
Right.
So these bags were pretty massive.
Well,
It took a lot of energy to put them.
how much does one weigh? I know y'all are lifting them up. I even see Jesse lifting those things up, I believe. So how much those things weigh?
Well, actually, the trick is to not lift them. Like you wanna when dealing with those things, you wanna load them in place and have like a bag stand.
Okay.
So Jess fills those things within a bag stand and then just lays it down, so we don't have to actually lift those
tip
things.
it over. We might have to adjust it slightly, and that's pretty hard to do, just moving it a little bit. But that one of those bags, when filled, it might be around 200 pounds.
I'd say around 200. Yeah.
Okay, that's more than a bale of hay. Square bale. Okay, so yeah, I used to bale hay when I was a kid. Got raking bale, square bale. So we got a few of them up to 85 pounds. Real packed, real tight. So so you do use a stand to pack them with then. Okay, so I was wondering about that because we've done sandbags with some rocket motor test stands that we built here just for a protective wall in case the motor goes boom and we didn't want shrapnel hitting us or equipment around. So it was a berm wall that we would build with sandbags. We've done that. So I've had a little experience now. We built a kind of a sluice box to enable us to fill the bags real quickly. Of course, it was a good sized box. I don't think I'd be able to pick up something like that and move it around high up in a dome like y'all were constructing, unless I had some really good gantries or something. So have y'all thought about maybe having something like that, then a lift mechanism to get the bags up? What do you think that would save labor, or what do you think is the best labor saver to take a bag that size and put it in place?
Just kind of how we're doing it is probably the best way to do it. We built a bag stand out of what's that metal I used? It was like aluminum fence parts. It's for like an aluminum fence, the tension band for like chain link fence.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just bent it up, taped it, and then and then put a couple of those pieces together. Super easy to do.
So you're talking about the bars that go to the top of the fence, basically, and the poles that support it. Same thing that I should have built my greenhouse out of instead of PVC.
And you just want to fill it in place. You load the dirt up with the bag on the stand, and then lay it down over the barbed wire.
Yeah, so keep in mind, in between each course of bags, there's barbed wire, so that makes it harder to place those bags also. As soon as that bag hits the barbed wire, it's going to stick. So we also have a metal plate sitting on the bag where we're filling it so that it doesn't stick while we're filling it.
Okay, very good. You use 2 strands of barbed wire, one on each side?
Yep, 2 strands.
That's recommended for especially if you're building something like a house or something like that. Go with 2 strands.
That's what I'm
building.
Yeah. Yep.
I watched quite a few sandbag videos and some others folks building domes. So that's why I like watching you guys to build your dome, and you're putting what stuck on the outside. What do you you got a lot of local mud you're building up mixture, and I don't think you're not using any concrete in it though much, are you?
No concrete.
Yeah, no concrete. Just earth
and straw.
Yeah, it's a cob mix. So
old-fashioned cob. Yeah, some people cheat even with modern cob. They put concrete in it, but you guys are just, well, you got a lot of clay in most of the Arizona soils. I assume that helps a lot. I know there's a lot of clay up in the area. I've got 40 acres up in northeast Arizona, and there's snowflake, and there's a lot of clay there. Y'all have anything to filter rocks out of your soil? Do you have a stand with a screen stand or anything to screen your soil?
Yeah, we've used a couple of different sifters. I think we've used 1/2-inch mesh, and then I've also used like another metal mesh, and then I don't screen too much. I screened a little bit. Sometimes I screen a little bit with the cob, but we ended up for the soil for the bags, we ended up just kind of digging it out and using that straight into the bag mix.
Yeah, we just take out the larger rocks, and that actually works pretty well at, adding that aggregate in there. It works for the bag fill.
So it's better to have a little small rock, and it's not worth the effort to get it out anyway. I was wondering.
Exactly.
I was wondering about that. Okay. So how high is your dome going to be when you get it completed?
So it's going to end up being probably a little over 20 feet high.
Wow.
And it's kind of needs to be that way mathematically, because depending on how wide the dome is, the height needs to match the interior diameter. So people have to think about that. The larger you make that dome, the higher it's going to be.
Yeah, you can only come in so much at a time with each course. You can come in a little bit, but not a whole lot. Keep the stability.
Right.
And that's what governs it. Did y'all ever think about putting in a center pole and using that like as a crane or anything like that? Yeah, I mean, y'all not doing that, but had y'all thought about that in the construction? Conference crane?
Yeah, we need it. We have a center pole in there right now that we kind of need for measuring and making sure. Yeah.
It's a guide. You use that to measure everything all the way around as you go, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So
if we had a heavy duty.
Yeah, if you had something heavy duty in there, you might be able to kind of maybe.
You need like a telephone pole or something to do
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be able to make it do double duty then.
Yeah, I used a great big pine tree to get my top logs pulled up on my log barn. I put a big pulley way up in the tree and got a big long 300-foot long steel cable. Might have been 400-foot long, and used my tractor and had to build ramps. But I felt like an Egyptian because I had to build a half pyramid every time I pulled a couple logs up and then tear it down and move it. I had to go to the other side. It was a lot of work. You know how they would use sand in Egypt? They'd build a sand pyramid to lift a big rock or a big stone up, then they'd take it down, So even the Romans, they built when they were going in after what was that place where the Jews were hanging out at the end, where Josephus was hiding. They built a huge ramp going up this mountain, where these guys were hiding to take them, and it was just a heck of an engineering work. It's hard to believe the effort they put into that, but you put a lot of work into it. Sometimes your construction edifices can be more laborious than what you're building if you're not careful.
Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah, it looks like y'all been smart enough to avoid that. But now you're not just 20-foot high. You've got an underground portion. How deep is your underground portion? Your root cellar, basement? What do y'all call that?
Yeah, we actually got 2 underground portions, and they're going to each be under 2 domes. So we have one that's a root cellar.
You have a cistern now. Are you building over the root cellar?
Yeah, we will be.
Okay.
So we'll have a root cellar and we'll have 1 underground bedroom.
Underground bedroom. Oh, is that what's in the house? It's underground bedroom. Oh. Okay, very good, very good. Well, that'll be a nice, cool place to sleep, literally.
That's my hope.
How about drainage? What are you doing to make sure that if you did get a flood there, that you don't get water coming in?
Yeah, that is a good question. I don't think we actually have anything for water drainage down there. I kind of designed it so that we shouldn't get any water down there. The only thing we kind of did plan for down there is to make sure that there's no so that some gases can escape.
Yeah, but the domes we're building over it are larger than the underground portion, so it kind of overlaps that. I think we're considering adding like French drains
Okay.
around the structures in case we need to move water away from the foundation.
Yeah, we're gonna hopefully try and mitigate any chances of water getting in there.
Right.
I got a big hole I've dug in the back of my property, and I was planning to build an underground house there, original style of Mike Ayler's concept. He wrote a book called the $50 Underground House Book back in the 70s. He was a real hippie pioneer in underground houses, and it's a cute book. He had built cute houses, and he built them cheap, and he expanded some, but he goes in a lot of detail about how to build these things, and I thought it was a great idea. It's going to be challenging. He was up in Idaho, drier climate than what I got here in Alabama. But I dug out a trench that I went to the backside of my property, which was 10 foot higher than the low point. And I dug a trench to the low point, thinking it would drain it out. But the guy that dug the trench for me with the backhoe, he didn't dig it quite deep enough. So I'm going to have to go back. And I only dug my pit 8 foot deep. So I thought I had plenty of margin. I'm going to have to go back and backfill it a foot before I can really build anything there. So that disappointed me quite a bit. And but the hope, my idea was to stand off from the wooden, from the dirt, and backfill it all with gravel around. I'll have to do below too for drainage. That was going to be my approach to that. But we get a lot of rain here in Alabama. I mean, a lot. Y'all got a fair bit here with the storms lately, right? What about mosquitoes? I've seen y'all slapping mosquitoes out there. Well, we got them here.
This we've gotten some because we had a pretty hefty monsoon season. Most of the time we don't have to worry too much about mosquitoes, but yeah, this year has been kind of bad.
Yeah, when we get the rains like this, the mosquitoes will come. Not necessarily as bad as like it was when we were living in Wisconsin or anything like that, but they're out here. It wasn't as big of an issue the previous year because
it was very dry.
A very dry year last year.
Wow, I guess do they like lay eggs that are like freeze dried or something that can last until the rain comes back?
Yeah, they must. Those eggs must be pretty resilient.
I wonder how they survive. I lived in Alaska 2 years. There was so many mosquitoes up there you wouldn't believe, but they had like antifreeze. The mosquitoes up there had antifreeze in their blood. I've laid on the ground with snow around me, had a mosquito buzz in my ear, and I go, "What the devil is that?" It's crazy.
I tell you, it has really been interesting living out here and seeing how the different species have adapted to this environment. There are toads that will lay dormant in the soils here
most of the year
until it starts to rain, and that's when they emerge, and then they mate and stuff like that. It's just remarkable.
Well, that's an exciting time of the year. I've seen the pictures. It's green out there now.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty green. So you are getting a green dream at the moment.
Yeah.
That's the name of the channel, guys. Green Dream. I'll put a link below here in a little bit. But when I post this video, I'm not going live with this video, guys, because my last live video I did with Jason Avers is still not monetized. I've appealed it, and they just haven't gone through that. So I get picked on my live videos. At least this one I can control when it gets posted, and I'll probably get monetized a lot faster, maybe right off the bat. I mean, I thought I was careful on that topic. I thought we was only talking gardening, but who knows what the AI robots thought it was. Anyway, so it's pretty exciting to think about that. Somebody can take a dream like you've got and just build from the soil a home. What are the sandbags costing y'all a piece, price wise?
So we were able to find some misprinted grain bags that we were able to get. So each of the bags were about, I'd say 20 to 25 cents a piece.
Okay, that's great. So there's about like feed bags. I buy sandbags for selling worms. My cost about 25 cents a piece, but they're not as big as yours. But they're specifically sandbags. So yours are actually a feed bag. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. And I thought that was a pretty cool concept and be something to be able to find, to be able to kind of use those bags that might have been, they can't get put into production. They can't get sold like that. So I figured they'd probably get thrown out. But here we're able to kind of pick them up and use them for building.
So you're basically recycling with it. So the time you get that wall raised, how much money do you think you'll have in the wall in terms of sandbags and just materials that you have to buy in the dome wall itself? Any idea?
I mean, just the dome wall itself. What did I say the like 600 bags would cost? What are those? The underground areas. Do you remember? I know those underground portions cost us like about $700, but that was including all the wood we used to cover it. I think with just the bags, it might be.
That counts as
part. Might be like $300 to $400.
Okay. But how much? It takes a lot of time to fill those bags. But how much labor do you think that you got to put into that? You got a per square foot or cubic foot estimate on that, or anything like that? Have y'all come up with some metric, cost metric for labor?
For labor?
Yeah.
No.
That's really hard.
I've been hesitant to like put a value on the labor.
Well, just time,
because it's going to be different for everyone.
Oh yeah.
How much effort and labor they can put in, and we decided to kind of just do it just the two of us. So that's going to make it a lot more difficult than, let's say, if we had 3 or 4 people, or if we had a team of people out here. You bring a team of people to build like an Earthbag dome, you could probably knock that out in like a week or 2.
Yeah, I find like weather impacts how much we can work too. On really hot days, it's very difficult. Sometimes it gets very windy here, and it makes it really difficult to work too. So we got to kind of work around the weather, and sometimes we got to take it more slowly just for safety's sake and our health.
Yeah.
All right, but do you have any estimate, if you would guess per week, how many hours you might put into it a week? On average, I know that will vary.
Would you say close to 30, maybe 20 to 30?
Yeah, I'd say that probably about 20 to 30 hours per week, depending.
That's a good part-time job. It's almost a full-time job. Yeah. Well, I'm asking these questions because my viewers will be curious, especially if they want to go in and build something like that. I want to build something like my walls will be pretty darn big, because I'm going to be encompassing 1/10 of an acre and going up a couple of stories. Now I'm not looking at building a dome. My walls will be straight up because I'm trying to maximize the sunshine coming in, not covered up. So my structure will be wide open. Except I am going to have ceilings over the living portions that are going to be living areas. So, but I plan to grow on top of those ceilings, and then have like a greenhouse above that. But whether it's glazed or not will depend on where you live at, the kind of weather you're dealing with. It could be open air, especially in the desert. So that's going to vary. My concept's a loose architectural concept with a lot of variability allowed, unlike the Earthship concept, which there's a lot of similarities. But the guy that came up with that, Mike Reynolds, I believe is his name. He's pretty strict about a lot of things in this concept. You got to do this, you got to do that. I don't adhere to that. I think it needs to be an open. My main thing is thermal mass and grow area, and let the sun shine in. It could be a song, let the sun shine. If y'all remember. Let the sun shine. The sun shining in. So I'm not a great artist, but sometimes my audience begs me to sing. I think that how I'm so bad at it, that's the entertainment value of it. But especially when I do live sessions at night, my audience gets entertained by funny things. I do a lot of live sessions, but I also do a lot of sessions where you're out building stuff. And I like that. I like that mix. I do kind of a mix myself, not as much outside as I intended to do originally when I started my channel. So what is your main challenges? What is the, talk to us about some of the biggest challenges you face in doing what you do.
Well, you know, building with this, building this type of this way, you know, it's really physically demanding. So, you know, it's important to have a certain kind of level of physical fitness. It's important to take care of yourself. You know, to keep yourself healthy, strong, flexible, make sure you're not injuring yourself out there. It's probably, Earthbags is probably one of the most physically intensive builds you can probably do.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that at all. Although it may not be worse than pounding sand in the tires. You know, that's what Mike Reynolds believes in. He believes in building those tire walls. And you know, it wouldn't be so bad if they were cylinders, you could just pour it in. But they pound it back into the tire with a sledgehammer, and that is just so much work. That just, it strikes me as being insane. I just can't do
that. Tire work is probably the most physically intensive. I've done a little bit of that too, and that's much more intensive than the bags.
That's kind of one of the reasons I like bags. Go ahead.
Well, what would you say is one of the
challenges of building?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's gotta be up there. I mean, you can have, you know, I like planning things out. I like, you know, designing, and it's one thing to have something on paper as this great idea, but then turning it into something physical is much different. So I think some of the challenges for me were kind of letting go of some initial ideas that were maybe a little too grandiose, or, you know, maybe something came up in the process that we had to kind of retool and rechange those things. So yeah, being flexible with the plans, that's another challenge for me anyway.
The dreams versus reality, that's always interesting. I built a log barn back here. I built my very first greenhouse is 24 foot wide and 75 foot long. That's the very first one I built. So, you know, I believe in starting small. Yeah, 16 foot tall. It's been standing for about 3 years, but I had some snow damage back last year, and so she's still standing, but she's a little bit rough right now. But you know, after about 3 years, about all the glazing lasts on those anyway, so it needs a redo. You know, we could do a share and show some of your videos. I could go to your channel, and let me pull this up on pull your channel up if you'd like, got anything particular you'd like for me to show here. Nothing else, I can just show everybody what your channel is. And yeah, they've got a dog. You might have heard the dog in the background a minute ago. There he is. And a good sense of humor. You can tell from their banner here on their channel. See, you got to have a good sense of humor when you're out building stuff, right, guys?
Yeah, that is one of the things that's really helped us keep us going for sure.
No kidding. So everybody come in here and find their channel, subscribe to it. I can give that notification button. You can also join their channel. That's another option you got here. And oh yeah, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, bang, hit that notification bell, and click off. You can do both channels. And also, by the way, they are doing some gardening out there, and this is still a good time to plant your fall gardens, guys. You can go check out my links below to True Leaf Market. That's an excellent place to go get your seeds and supplies, especially growing microgreens. You can grow them year round in the home. So here they are. They started out in this big plot way out in the desert and decided to build this home. And this is it going up, and they show going around it. They just lots of videos in here, guys, about various things have been. This is their cistern. And here's their underground root cellar. They just got so much stuff they're building out there. And here's Jessica with a big pickaxe, as big as she is. So if you want to get fit, this is one good way to do it. And one way to go on that channel, see all the videos, kind of get you past the playlist they put in here, just like videos. It shows everything they posted by chronology. You can sort on it with most recent or most popular. You can get the oldest first, the newest first, you know, and the default is newest first. So I do believe this would be your last video that you did. You can see I watched both of these all the way through. What was there something here you would like for us to play a little bit of? Is there something you'd like to show people, tell them about? Look this, guys. Look here where they're building, putting in the 4-racter sleepers, where you're going to call them, from the upstairs there. Look at that, guys. They're building their platform. So they're way up there, guys, doing that. Here's the bags. And here, guys. You got anything particular you like when you play a little bit off? Show people?
Nothing comes to mind in particular. It's it's been a mix of lately. It's been a mix of, we just kind of got back into laying the bags again, but for a while, because of the monsoon season, we were getting back to doing a lot of rainwater harvesting videos.
Yeah, look at all the green. Look there. Looks like an owl or somewhere.
We got so much.
Yeah, it's really green around there right now. If you go back to some of the other earlier videos, it won't be so green. But we got a lot of growth out there right now. So it's this is some of the earlier stages where we started getting the cob up real high. But this is cool, guys. I mean, there's a lot of construction video in here. This goes into a lot of detail. I've seen a lot of videos on building homes with the sandbag approach, and you usually get one video showing the whole thing. So this is a lot more detail. Or maybe some channels might do 2 or 3, but you got step-by-step everything, including all the little inventions they make, like this ladder lift.
$453,000.
Oh, well, we got to add so much for that. Hey, you're monetized. That's great. That really helps. I know you got to have something to help pay the cost there. We collect and store and filter rainwater. See, there you go. Just drinking that rainwater there. So that's a good thing. So these guys are really driving towards self-sufficiency. What's the 5 mistakes to avoid in rainwater harvesting? You got a good tip on that? There's the
that particular video is one I wanted to do because I made a lot of mistakes setting up rainwater harvesting things. Those are just little details that I've learned to kind of avoid. Now
this one's got a lot of views. Installing a massive rainwater harvesting. Guys, this has got 157,000 views on that one. So that's got a lot of attention. This is done real well for you. 32,000 views, 5 mistakes. Yeah, people like the number 5 because that's how many fingers they got. That's why I did a video 5 key things on raising worms, and that video's got like 430-something thousand views for me. So people
nice.
like something and count on the fingers on one hand.
5 is a good number.
That's a good number. 10's a good number. I think 5 is a better number. It's easier to hold it one hand because you can use your other hand to count the fingers. 5 is a real good number. So they got a lot of cool things they do in here, guys. I look how they're establishing the eave for the system. And again, this is the channel here, Green Dream Project. Green Dream Project. I said thing, that's why I searched it. But it's the Green Dream Project, guys. So and I'll put this link below. So it's an exciting thing here, guys. I'm really enthused. And once they get all this building done, you're going to switch more to gardening, or what's going to be your next project? Are y'all going to expand the building? What are y'all going to do next? I mean, you got so much stuff going on there. What's next? You got a cistern, you got a root cellar, you got this big house you're building. What's the next project?
Next, I think we really want to focus on growing food. We'll be expanding our garden spaces, experimenting with different types of gardening. I think we'll continue to be rainwater harvesting. I definitely want to put in more earthworks. I want to focus on earthworks so that when we collect that rain, not only are we collecting it into cisterns, but we're storing it where it's most needed, and that's in the soil.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, I kind of figured that's what you would say, because I know that's what I'd be doing is focusing on garden. I think on my land I'm gonna start with the garden and then build a house. I got a bus I could stay in for a while out there, and I want to try to figure out some way to go back and forth if I can manage to keep both these places. I'm running the risk of losing my job though. Well, actually, I probably will because I'm not willing to live by the tenets of certain mandate that somebody came out with. So my 40 some odd year, multi-decade career is about to come to a slam stop, and it's going to be real rough on me because I got some horrendous bills, so it's going to have to make me some big adjustments as to how I'm going to survive at that point. But you know, it is what it is. So I'll just have to figure out some way to adjust, and my viewers will get to come along for the ride to see what I come up with. I'm going to come over here and show you guys my my concept. If you don't mind, I'll do a quick little snip through it, and probably add on that too. Maybe I'll skip through it here. I'll let it play for a minute in the background. I'm not shared this video yet, so there we go. I'll get through that. I'll come in here, come back, share. You can see what comes out of my hair besides a comb occasionally. So this is one of my earlier drawings of a cutaway looking through one side of a hexagon, and it's longer looking in the view you're looking in. The whole idea here is you got thick walls. These are drawn at about 2 foot thick. You got and this area right here, whole area under the glass is 1/10 of an acre, which is 43,506 feet, 60 feet. So you got 43,560 is an acre. So 1/10 of that is a 1/10 of an acre. And you've got half of his living space. So you got over 2,000 square foot at each one of these levels. I had a garage workshop level there. It would be huge. So you can put like I don't know, looms, worm farms, mushroom growing outfit, or indoor microgreens, or just any kind of shop. You could put 3D printers, server farms, mine Bitcoin, whatever you wanted to do in that area. But you know, your living space up here for a family of 4 is very spacious. I was going to put some skylights in so the sun would even shine through part of that, and a lot of windows on this side. The growing area was meant to be down here. I was going to use some aquaponics, and I thought I might even increase the area by putting some growing cubes overhead, grow some on the wall, solar panels inside. Over here where the kitchen is, I'd do the hot water solar panel out here. This is just kind of a notional idea. And I've got several different geometries I'm looking at that show you. I had a architect draw this stuff out for me, and so I'm playing into here a little bit. This is the architect's concept right here of it. Lady and Afif is her name, Beji. She's in Tunisia, Tunis, Tunisia. And she took my concept and drew this out. And I've also, so this is a side view. Well, there it is. And she had, instead of the lower courtyard being open below the living area where the shop is, she covered the whole thing. She's got a huge basement area in it, the way she rendered it out. But you could also skip all that basement. You could just have a one-level system. So, this is out looking through the end of the living area here. And you can see it going on the ceiling. Oh, shoot, my cursor's always run away with me on this computer. It's going the wrong way. Sorry, guys. This computer's kind of spastic. I'm just going to skip through. This is a side view. Now, this is a little different application of that habitat, placed somewhere else. That's the reason you got that back wall back there like that. I'm going to skip through here. We just saw that one. Floor pan looking down. That's kind of in the bedroom areas. Oh yeah, this is sustainable harvesters. This is a aquaponics setup, not too far from Houston, Texas. I forget the name of the town. It starts with a K. I've been there. I took that picture. I've got basically one run like this in my greenhouse in place to put another. My system is not this large. They've got the air curtain, water curtain, swamp coolers in the back. I got that in where I walk in my greenhouse. So, you know, that's just some of the stuff I showed that because that could be the roof. You could use the roof like they have there instead of the kind drawn here. The roofs are optional. She did several different views here, as you can see. And again, she put in a kind of central aquarium in here, which I think was added to it, made it really pretty. It's looking straight down. Of course, this is all still drawings. This is an actual building. You know, there's a big difference between an actual building and drawings, but at least we've got an architect. Here's my habitat right here, a tree going up the side of it. But you might think this is something funny going on there. Well, it is. I got it, and where you build several of these, put them in together in a community, up a terrace. And this terrace is floating in a balloon in the atmosphere of Venus. So I'm a space guy too. By the way, it is buoyant. It would float at 50 miles high in the atmosphere of Venus. And go, oh my God, Venus is twice as hot as a soldering iron. And it is down on the surface, but at 50 miles high where these balloons would float, it's the same atmospheric pressure and temperature as Earth. And you got 90% of our gravity, so it's better than Mars. Only thing is you'd have some, you can't have oxygen outside, and you do have some, that's just more buoyant. You'd be more buoyant in Venus than that would float in the Earth's atmosphere, actually. In fact, it'd almost be too buoyant. So, I go into a lot of different things here. So, yeah, so that's why I call it universal habitat. The idea is I can stick it anywhere on Earth or in space. Yeah, and we've even got a rendition of a Mars one, guys. But yeah, sandbags are critical. Here's my hole. And I got a bunch of poles in it that's cedar poles where I was going to set it up for the, there's an Earthship. I was going to set it up for the Mike Ayler concept originally. That's just some different views. I'm not making my presentation. I'm just skipping through it to give y'all some different renditions, some ideas.
I like that kind of combining those living spaces with those growing spaces.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. See, well, I was impressed by their Dervaes family very much, but what I noticed when I was there is they had a house that occupied a good part of the lot. They had a roof. Their whole lot was 2/10 of an acre. They had a driveway. It went from the front of the house all the way to the back. Now, when I was there the first time, they weren't growing in the driveway at all. And they had a garage back in the back. And at that time, they weren't too much using that for their enterprise directive. So they had a garage, this big driveway, and they had a house. The front yard was more of an entertainment area. And they was growing everything in the backyard. And I'm going, just from the standpoint of efficiency, what if I got rid of the garage and got rid of the driveway and grew on top of the house? And so I got more living area than they got, more growing area than they got on the same footprint, half the footprint of their lot, which is the same footprint they started growing on. And if I throw in a few aquaponics tubes, I could increase that 50%. Oh yeah, by the way, on Venus, you could add in a little more CO2 indoors, like a 20%, a certain level of increase of CO2 gives you like 20% growing factor higher than what they got. And they're growing like 7,000 pounds of food a year on their lot. But they do work it very intensively. I mean, they do work it. I mean, it's not just they plant it, set it and forget it. It's not a Ronco garden. Y'all remember Ronco? Those old commercials. Set it and forget it. You have to be kind of old to remember that. They work pretty intensively. But they're using just simple raised bed technology. I mean, just raised beds are a way to grow a whole lot more than the old row crops. But there's nothing, and they got some vertical growing. They got some stuff trellised up, but there's nothing high tech in their systems yet that they're able to grow so much there that it is really astounding. The thing I love most about visiting them is it's just you get this good feeling when you visit a family who are so well adjusted and happy with what they got. They live meager lives, but they grow all their food there and they sell from it and make a living on it. They grow things such as grain products. They make a living off that 1/10 of an acre. It supported originally 4 adults. The father died between my first and second visit. And I went out there, and he was a very inspirational. Joel's was a very, very, very inspirational individual, and his children have followed in his footpath to keep that going. And so the whole family inspires me. I think they do great work. And I look at you guys and I see what you're doing and I see great work. And I said that you have the spirit, the enthusiasm, the excitement. And I know that it's going to be, I look forward to coming out and meeting you guys one day. I don't know, I'm going to feel like when I went to visit the Dervaes family when I come out to see you guys. Because you guys love what you're doing. It's a work of passion and love. And I see it in your channel. I see it in your demeanor, your attitude. You guys you're inspirational. I just got to add that and say that. I encourage everybody to watch you, to subscribe to your channel. Is because you've got a lot to offer, and there's a lot of content there. And I know as y'all expand and do your gardening and all the other things, you're going to take your viewers along for the ride all the way along. And there's going to always be.
I'm pretty excited to get in that.
There'll always be lessons to learn there. So hopefully I won't be, it'll be still, it's a good distance between Southern Arizona where you guys are at and where I'll be, but hopefully we can make a few trips back and forth and visit.
I hope so. Yeah, that'd be very cool.
The good Lord's willing, and I don't lose everything I got. I may wind up just being a guy in a van down by the river. The man in the van. We'll just have to see it. Well, I got a bus right now. I'm hanging on to it. But I got to build it out. I got a van, a couple of vans. Like I said, I got 3 vans. One of them I got to get rid of. And the other's got to have a lot of work done to bring it up far. So I was going to have one van that's kind of the go. Was going to leave the bus in Arizona, and then go back and forth. And I was going to stay in the larger van going back and forth while I was transiting. So we'll just have to see it all plays out. I don't know.
You're gonna modify the bus?
Yeah, I was planning it's got all the seats gone. It's now been classified as an RV. So I was going to build a little home into it.
Nice.
That'll make something for people to follow. Yeah, I want to get that going. But
yeah,
but I got a day job. I've been working crazy hours for it, and I got a big project I got to get up. So it's gonna be crazy as soon as I get that out. I'll spend all my time right here, and Sunday I might not have that. Maybe go poof. Just because I'm not too. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just not too excited about taking this stuff. So being told I got to. I've got some friends have had some issues, and I don't want to say too much about it on here.
No, sure.
We'll get banged. That's not the subject here. But it does impact me in my life. It's going to impact me greatly.
Yeah.
People don't do. So decisions, they're not always easy, and sometimes you have to make some tough choices in life.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I think a lot of people are in that position right now.
Yeah, I think I got a lot of company. So I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in seeing how all that plays out. A lot of company. Well, tell us a little bit about your dream going forward. Where do you ultimately want all this to go? What's your biggest? What's the big dream?
Well, when you talk about that family, I mean, that's kind of really where we want to head. It's to be sort of as self-sufficient as possible out there. We want to be growing our own food. We want to be as independent as possible, as far as our food and water and energy goes, and be able to just really push things as far as we can with growing food, with growing trees, with making our own things, making our own products and tools out here.
Are you going to put a well in? Will you do a well out there?
Yeah, it's something we haven't completely ruled out. We haven't completely ruled out doing a well. We really want to push rainwater harvesting as much as possible. If we do have to put in a well, we do. It would be an expense because I believe to put a well out here, we're probably got to go at least 400 feet, but they recommend maybe going as much as 600 feet.
Oh, wow. I'm looking at 250 feet up my part of Arizona, and that's going to set me back probably about 16 grand. I did a well here, went 100 feet, and the well itself only cost me about $3 grand. By the time I got everything plumbed up and put in, it was about 10. So
yeah,
I did that mostly from my aquaponics system in my worms, so I wouldn't have to use chlorinated water. I mean, I got city water available here at the place, but I don't like it for what I do. It's destroyed my aquaponics. I had hands that thought they were doing me a favor refilling my aquaponics system. They knocked it out more than a few times. And once I had a hose that went to my swamp coolers, I thought it was okay to run that stuff in my swamp coolers, and the hose ruptured and spewed that stuff into my aquaponics system and wiped me out then. But now I got a leak in my aquaponics system, so I got a whole nother issue. It's always something. It's always something. But a deep water aquaponics system is, just the grow bed's about 5,000. My whole system's about a 5,000 gallon system. So I'm really thinking about putting a well in. I don't have to go as deep as you guys do, because you guys have got to compete also with all the cities down in southern Arizona, right? Don't they all draw from it, or how's that work out for you?
Yeah, well, it's not just the cities too, but there's so many, because there's such a lack of restrictions on the water, underground water here. So I got a lot of
larger agricultural
interests.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's massive down there. You fly
got
over Arizona and you see it all. You see all the places where people are going out there. A lot of stuff. Madison.
Yeah, you got orchards out here, dairies out here.
Oh, yeah.
And some of these people are some of these places are putting in wells like 1,000 feet deep or more.
Wow. And now, how do you pronounce your last name? Bonilla, or how do you say that?
The double L is kind of pronounced like a Y, so it's Bonilla.
Bonilla. Oh, okay. Bonilla. This is more of a Spanish pronunciation, or?
Yeah.
Bonilla. Okay. I thought I probably wouldn't nail it. That's why I wasn't saying it right off the bat. All right. Very good. So I really appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate y'all coming on here and spending your time with me. What would you like to tell my viewers? What should they consider before they would want to build an Earthbag structure, home, cistern, root cellar, or just anything like that? What would be your first advice to somebody else wanting to follow in your footsteps, like even to me?
My big thing is, do the research, really kind of delve into it and kind of know what you're getting into.
And then get the experience, start small.
Yeah.
Just to get a taste of that, so you know also what you're getting into and you don't get overwhelmed by a huge project.
Start small, and then when you got an idea of how a small project, start even smaller than that.
Right.
Really just get a feel for the material,
Right.
And what you're getting into.
Yeah, very good.
And, I can't stress preparation enough. Not only the research, but mentally preparing yourself for this kind of endeavor, and physically and preparing yourself for this type of endeavor. I can't stress that enough.
Now, how long have y'all been building your home? I know y'all built other projects, but the home itself, how long have y'all been doing that now?
Just the home?
Yeah, just the home.
Yeah.
About
a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
About how much longer?
That includes both. Oh, that's a good question. We think we can finish this dome up pretty quick once we get back into it. And so what do you think? What do you think we could get within another year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometime next year, I think.
Hopefully before. It'd be nice to be done before the summer of next year.
There you go.
We're gonna shoot for that. There's a lot of things we've learned. This dome is our first dome. So when people are watching our channel, they're really watching us do this dome for the first time. We've built other Earthbag structures, but this is our first dome, and it's a lot different. It's a lot more things to consider.
There's a lot to learn every step, right? No matter what you do, a lot to learn, right? This is your first time off, so everybody gets to watch you learn it, and they're along with the ride forward. But I think it's cool that you're sharing that. But You got so much content out there that people can pick up a lot by watching you and following that, a whole lot. So
Yeah, we got these individual videos, and we like to put out compilations after the build, so
Yeah.
that you can get like a bunch of information into one video, and then you get your more detailed information in each individual video.
very good, very good. Y'all doing great work. You got good videography. Your channel is outstanding in many respects. I really appreciate what you're doing, what you're bringing forward. You put a lot of work into it. A lot of people who aren't YouTube creators don't realize just how much work goes into creating and formatting videos. And I can't find time hardly to edit anything anymore. So I really appreciate what you're doing, because I can tell y'all have edited this and put a lot of effort into it. A lot of my videos, I spend a lot of time just researching the topic before I talk about it. Even
Yeah.
though I know about it, I just don't come on and start blah, 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 blah. I'll go back and do other research before I come on. That takes a lot of time. So you put a lot of time in this. I know it's a labor of love. And you can see that in y'all's faces, because you just you're well-adjusted people. You love what you're doing, and it's really obvious. And so I look forward to seeing this house done and what it's going to look like, because it's going to be a work of art. And it's beautiful what y'all are doing. It absolutely is beautiful. It's going to match the landscape. What do you like best about it? Let's tell me a few of your things you like best before we leave here. What's some of the things you like best? What have you most enjoyed? What's your greatest satisfactions?
Well, if you're talking about like the lifestyle in general, I really, I mentioned about one of the most difficult things is all the intense physical labor out here. But it's actually one of the things I've actually enjoyed about this, because even though it is a lot of hard work, it's a lot of hard work that we're doing for ourselves to build our future. I've had a lot of jobs in the past. I've had a lot of jobs where it's a lot of work. You got to put a lot of energy into it. But I'm always doing that work for other people. Here, I get that satisfaction of being able to build something for us, and there's always things to keep me interested, to keep me engaged. I get to problem solve out here on a daily basis. And that is really what makes this so worth it for us, for me.
There's a lot of freedom in that. You're designing your life. You're creating this environment that you're living in. And yeah, it's very freeing.
Very good. Well, you're two very strong individuals, because you stuck with it, and I know you're going to see it through and do great things. You're what you're doing is awesome. Is there anything you'd like to say to my followers on my channel before we part? Before we part, parting thought, shot, anything you'd like to share?
I'd say, if this is something you're interested in, on Greg's channel or ours, stay tuned and, keep learning, keep that hope alive, keep that creativity going, and a lot of things can open up for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good. Guys, I'm really excited. Like I said, I can't wait to see what the home's going to look like and how your homestead's going to evolve over the ensuing years. Whatever you do, I'm sure it's going to be exciting. I just hope I'm up to the challenge. I'm 61 years old. I'm kind of hobbling around, but I'm still quite strong right now. But you never know what life's going to do. I had a car wreck in April, so you never know what's going to happen. But so far I've still got a lot of enthusiasm for, like Dave told, Hal told Dave in 2001, have the utmost enthusiasm for the mission, Dave. As it got switched off, but I don't plan to get switched off. Yeah, throw a little humor, guys, right? Anyway, hey, thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Y'all take care, and maybe we'll do this again. We'll have to check up on you from time to time, see where you're at and how it's going. If y'all like to come on here again and chat some more, or If you want me on
Absolutely.
talk about something I do, worms or something, just holler at me. And y'all take care. Best of luck with what you're doing. And everybody watch these guys. Just keep an eye on them. They're doing great stuff. They're inspirational. If you want some inspiration, go watch these guys right here. And thank y'all for watching. Bye-bye.